for your kind words. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you all must be aware about, today I would be talking about achieving problem solution fit and product market fit. So let me just share my slide. Hope you all can see my slide. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
All right. So, okay. So today I would be talking on these of the two topics, like how problem solution fits help minimize the startup phase, and the second would be how we can move ahead from zero to a complete end-to-end product market fit. Okay. So yeah. So in the problem solution Uh, what do you understand by the problem solution? I would say what is the very first milestone you need to achieve once you have to set up your shop for your startup, right? So perhaps one that will help you ensure that you are on the right track, that you need indeed work towards building the right product for the right customers. So, well, more or less, it's about making sure you have validated a problem solution bit, and of course that you have achieved that by following the right steps, ensuring yourself a steady footing. And I've previously highlighted, it's in the same fashion by validating problem solution bit. It doesn't mean it's a on-off process. So at least not one that once completed you have got it made for good and for all. If you ask me, it's quite the opposite. That's because you will definitely be called upon re-evaluating both your offerings and your customer needs as well. So in this, I would be talking more towards the market and customer needs. Why the solution problem solution fit that much critical? Why we should be removing the riskiest part of the endeavors, taking more toward practice than as compared to the theory, and asking the right questions and finding the right answers for the questions, and how we can validate the problem solution fit. So let me start by going through the market and the customer needs. So you can consider these change from time to time. When that happens, you need to find yourself in a position that will allow you to detect them early on, right? So to put another way, you will need to be looping through the continuous testing process. With the first validation, the first test you need to conduct and make sure get some good conclusions out of it. Is that a problem solution fit? That's actually a prerequisite of the next step. The, the problem solution fit is what we are going to discuss together with the problems that may arise if you don't conduct the experiment or fail to get some useful result out of it. Of course, that's simply because of if you don't produce enough hard evidence that you do meet the standards, or much worse if you have carelessly or omitted this critical step, you will inevitably be forced to retrace your steps all the way back to defining the problem. So it's much more important to try to answer this question, is the problem worth solving? Because if you need, so you need to answer you need these answers, because before you can start building in any direction, the key here is to avoid having to reverse engineer your way to some answers, right? Because you don't want to like finding a problem for a solution. You have to like first find out the right problem, and then you have to like find out the right solution, not the other way around. So that because like that would be like pretty much waste of the resource, and the most valuable resource is the time. So we can't afford to lose time. So so why is a problem solution fit that critical? Like you all must be thinking like for like so that is like very much important, because like once you get into building a company from scratch, that alone means that you have endeavored into uncertainty of and hardships. So if you like just give you all my example. I've like started like in total like of three companies like till now. I the very first company I did started during my college days, or like during my stay in IIT from like 2006 till like 2010 in BHU itself. That was acquired back in like July 2010. Did invested into few of the startups. So the very first thing which we have to do was to find the right problem, and how is that problem is that problem like big enough, like does the market is the market size right, or if we are like trying to solve a problem for a very like a small market, we can't scale at a much a very large number, right? So there are many parameters which we all have to like take into account like long before we can like make the right decision and like put our plans into action. And like for startup, things are like a bit trickier. So you just consider a case like if you have like if you are like exploring the whole country without any map, or like no matter the product like you are aiming to build, and no matter the market type you plan to target, the data you have in your hands is yet to be validated, right? You only start with a set of assumptions. That's what you have, like that you should treat them as such. Now, so let's see like so the data is the most important part, right? If you don't have the data, you can't take the right decision. uh, I would yeah, yeah. So the best thing is like by removing the riskiest parts of our endeavor, like so if our like problem solution fits helps us to make sure that the initial hypothesis has been validated with the right data set, and that our solution which we have like envisioned, that one we are like about to build or like does solve the problem worth solving enough. A problem which we initially assumed our customers have, one that we need to verify whether it's one they care to solve. That's what going to bring paying customers in, because like if a business doesn't have any revenue, that doesn't make a business large enough or worthy enough to be pursuing, right? And and to be more precise, a problem solution fits help us to get closer to these facts, right? So we should be like more toward like moving from like theory to practice. Like we shouldn't be like just uh, be like more towards like this putting things on paper, but we should be analyzing those things which are on ground reality. right? So that truth is like we should be like we should read or even like discuss the concept, and we can like really appreciate theory without putting it into practice. So it's not usually it's not unusual to wheel our customer development or like the lean startup or the agile development and other methodologies that help startups minimize the risk. So in simple words, I would say like I'm like just trying to say like we should be like using our resources up in the most effective or the efficient manner, so that like uh, its resultant is like minimizing the waste and maximizing the output. And so despite the fact that we can like get closer to sustainable growth without performing a reality check to each step, are we sure to have made the most out of them? So, could we repeat this kind of success, or was it a success by chance? We must be mindful throughout the entire endeavor. Otherwise, failure could lurk around the corner. So, with that quite uncomfortable truth in mind, we can have a like closer look at like how we can like start working on a problem solution bit. Uh, so I've like just like tried to give you out like a few of the like questions like which we have to like first find the answers, because like if we have like if we don't have the answers to these questions, like we can't move ahead. Like we need to like first validate the problem. Like first of all, like we have to get into our customer shoes and collect as much as information as we can. That is like regarding the problem like we are like planning to solve. Do the customers really have that problem, or like does it really has the pain in them, like uh, or are they like really looking to solve it, right? So and also like will the solution which we are like trying to give it to or hand it over to the customers, are they like really ready to pay for that solution? So just consider a case like a smartphone. So when the very first smartphone was launched, like back in like 2007 by in like 2008 by Apple. So beforehand, like they had like done a market estimation, like people like they need to have a like ready to access the internet. They need like a good camera. They need to like send out email. Like they wanted to browse the internet. They wanted to listen to the music on the go. These were like some of the like problems. And if we can like if the Apple can like combine solution for all addressing all these problems, so can like can the customers be ready to pay for that solution? All or in short, I can say like the iPhone, right? iPhone was the very first smartphone which was launched in the market. So that's how like we have to like first like try out our hypothesis, alpha users or the very first users, or you can say like are your internal users, right? Then you have to like try out in a like very closed set of users and try to figure out uh, what's missing. So in short, like I can say like we need to like make sure that this is still hypothetical problem is a like loose and worth pulling on. So put it on paper, like we need to like try to determine like what our customer reality is. So, uh, this very purpose, like I can say like the following questions like we need to first ask them like do they have a like problem worth pursuing, or like are they enough people that have it? I would say like is it like one that we claim to be solving? Do they care to to solve it? Like is it a pain point for the customer, or like are they willing to pay for it? Would that make us a viable business? Does the case of not solving the problem cost them in time or money? Right. So this so the second one is like validating the solution. Is like secondly, like, and though you may not feel the process to the letter, but in terms of a predetermined sequence of the steps, you also need to be thoroughly investigate if your solution is like one that matches your customer needs. In particular, you need to be more specific as to what plan to offer. To put it in another way, our core question has to be with our intention. What is our promise or the intention in the same fashion? As with validating the problem, we need answers to some questions regarding its solution. So those questions could be like, will they trust our solution? Will our solution be good enough as compared to the solutions provided or produced by our competitors? If it's a solution offered as a service, then is it like engaging enough for them to adopt and keep using over time? Or like is it like affordable for to them? Is it affordable enough for us to keep new vendors off the board for at least for a while? Because if we are like trying to provide a total solution and that's not affordable for the customer, like then it wouldn't scale. The third most important part is like we need to like consider on the implementation part. So though ideas come, the difficult part is to implement them. As we all know, like India is like filled with great ideas, but we need executioners like who can like execute those ideas into ground realities. If an idea isn't like pitched it or like floated in front of the customers, then that idea isn't like good enough. Right? So a paper plan works just perfect, but how about the reality? It's time for our reality check considering all the problems we will need to resolve. So that is like once we have started to build our solution, we need to get answer like few of the questions. So is it like feasible to implement our initial idea, like especially if you have a like if you have a like tech product, or do we have like available resources in hand to produce that outcome in a like a reasonable time frame? Because like if we are like investing too much time in building the solution, then there might be a case like you might just miss the opportunity, right? So to uh, so if we are like getting like yes to those above like close-ended questions, so so there is a reason to pursue the problem. So and we need to like have like strong evidence that our initial assumptions are valid. So we need to shape our questions in such a way that they can be like easily be falsifiable, and that is true for both the questions we have to answer to proceed with our strategy and the questions we are going to ask our potential customers before we can like define a business plan. And later asking potential customers is one of the ways we can also use our validation process on all aspects of our product. we can have we can get more ideas on working towards the problem solution fit, right? So how we can validate the problem solution fit, that is one of the most important aspect. So apart from directly asking our potential customers any useful questions, we can also we also need to come up with ways to test the initial assumptions. So pertain to our business model, more specifically, after discussing with our team to determine which assumptions were initially taken for granted, we will have to prioritize our efforts and focus on the riskiest one first. Though we have already mentioned this, it needs thorough consideration. So it's exceptionally easy, aware of course and stress over things that are less important or minor even, or perhaps it's just the wrong timing. Sometimes there are considerations that are not currently that important. So once you have decided to decide on these riskiest assumptions, it's time for the crash test. And to that end, we may use some of the following tools where you can generate a generic landing page that summarizes your value proposition and prompts your visitor to take action on it, right? And uh, good CDA and the transition that leads to it would be the crucial part of the test. Or we can craft a prototype or a trainer video or a demo or a presentation. Based on that, we can invite a group that belongs to our customer segment to take part in a survey that and get their feedback, asking questions which I did mentioned some of the beforehand. So it could be a combination of different tactics, and in any case, as a problem solution fit method dictate, we will have to shape our test to allow for a pragmatic conclusion, positive or a negative, and that would be a feasible as uh, I did told by form. So running lean is the main aspect because it helps to minimize the waste. We have to do it the right way. So as I did, and we all know some of the startups may fall into a trap where their assumption about the solution to a problem may not be what customers need. So that largely the reason why all initial hypotheses and leaps of faith need to be gradually be validated using the most affordable or the fast efficient techs. So that is about the problem solution bit. But let me all take you through the product market fit. So like what is a product market fit? That's a very general question that comes into our mind. So uh, and launching a new business activity or building a very new product, every founders hope for one thing, the product market fit. So and that product market fit is a symbolic movement when you have the combination that offers uh, that the offer meets the demand, so that the solution you built is showing positive market response in terms of purchase and usage. It, it's like uh, traction is like everything. It's what investors ask for. It's what prospective employers or your team is looking for. But getting traction is like really a reflection of what your product is working, where users are engaged and retaining, and there's some organic acquisition. Product market fit is when like people who know they want your product are happy with what we are like trying to offer. So as I did told you like what is the product market fit like and like why is it important? So to answer this like why do we have like so, I would say like why is it important because like before we develop a product that we confirm enough people are willing to pay for or our cannot afford to cannot afford to focus on like other important strategic objectives such as like growth or like upselling existing users. So those initiatives could even be like counterproductive. In fact, if you haven't like first determined okay, that your product has enough market to sustain itself, generate a profit, that is like very well part. So we generally like associate the concept with the product market fit with marketing and product management. In reality, achieving it is a shared responsibility across the company. So the sales or the business development, the support and the finance and all the other departments help the company to reach this important milestone. So first, we need to like we need to like find the product market fit and then we can like optimize for the growth. So the important one, we get to you get to product market fit. You can like shift your focus from the initial product to distribution and win the market. It's important to do it in order. In the haste, we might like get into the market. There are teams that start spending too much time on the partnerships, like paid marketing, etc. So I would say like all in preparation for a big launch. But the problem is that if you have a like leaky bucket, then all those users at the top of the funnel won't help actually. With time, like you will lose all your users. So if you look at just look at the graph, so this is the line like where I've like tried to show the product market fit. So before product market fit, like you have like some amount of traction and like the growth curve is like very lucky, right? But as soon you have like find the product market fit, your company growth will be like exponential. So you can like easily like figure it out like what the product market fit looks like from the matrix standpoint. So really the best matrix to think about is probably the retention, which you did analyze like using the cohorts part. That means it's sticking, and you need to figure out acquisition. Once it's all figured out, so then you get the hockey stick, and that's what we are all looking for. So, so as I like tried to mention, like the product market fit is when the people who know they want your product are happy with what you are offering, and then you are ready to shift your focus from product to distribution and like win the market, right? So hitting the inflection point means that you can focus on scaling growth. The activities here are many of the things that I write about, like or I can say like the funnel optimizations, like the new user acquisition, activation, creating notifications, and like email drip campaigns, and like etc. etc. Like there are like n number of things, but like it's more important to think of these are distinct activities. So if your product isn't working, you won't solve that by doing worth activities, or sorry, doing many other like growth activities. So there are like certain writing in a bottle aspect to build new consumer companies for that reason. So I would say like that is why like 20 something like year old like often build awesome new companies, like then like we people like who are like in like 30s or like 40s, like we sometimes like tend to be biased. So entrepreneurs like who are young are less encumbered by the notion of like this is how things have always been done, or this kind of thing has never worked. They can like try, fail, iterate, and make their way towards something pretty new, right? So complete end-to-end like a product development or like starting a new company is like a journey of like figuring out a like solution, like then you are like uh, trying out your hypothesis, like you tend to make a goal, you tend to make the roadmap, and then you move ahead, right? So what product market fit looks like is like consider a case like you want to see your like daily active users with as compared to like a monthly active users is like more than like 25%, or like a world class like daily active base to monthly active user base is like above 50%. So, so there are like certain minimum for like organic acquisition. So you want to see like hundreds, if not thousands, or of signups per day, and at least like daily active is to like monthly active users should be like a little bit more above like than like 30%. So and ultimately there are some scale to show it like works properly, like 1 lakh daily active user is like pretty good number actually. So and if any of you have like built such have some such product, like please email it to me or like contact me. I'll be more than happy to fund you all. So um, and if you have what if you don't have a like product market fit, like so if you compare the metrics, most startups don't have actually product market fit, it's usually not working. So what like you have to like then get it done before you fail actually. Actually, like most of the startup, even like in fact, when I was like in BTech second year, uh, like 2007, 2008, actually, I started my very first startup at that time, and I failed terribly actually. So that was one reason actually. Like I haven't like looked at like each and every edge cases. I haven't like figured out like the perfect solution, and that was the very important reason for my failure actually at that. So like I would say like most startups like fail before reaching product market fit, and it usually like take years or like not months to reach it actually. Like uh, uh, these days, like most startup fail say like because of like lack of like product market fit, and not about like the okay, you can't hear. Okay, am I like audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So I was saying like most startups fail because of lack product market fit and not because of the technology risk. So if there are one that will kill you, it will be the product never quite working, and thus all the subsequent problems that come with that. So lack of the investors' interest, employees leaving, co-founder fighting, etc. So it's a like a very stressful time when it's not working. I find that product market fit is like usually reached either right way, or you have to be incredibly thoughtful about your iterations if you are like almost there but not quite enough. So how can we like get there? So uh, consider a case like I've like tried to mention like one of the like Facebook product like, but before that like let me just share you one example. So consider that I just wanted to like present you like one framework. Think about like what are the like kind of trade-offs like we have to make. So just consider like a coffee cup. So right. So a product market fit is like actually easy to get for a coffee cup. It has to hold coffee. That's about it. That's it. Nothing else. So there's not too many variables in designing a cup, and so there are not lot to mess up, right? But in contrast to like that of a, like, a digital product, where there are millions variable, like it's so much complex than a coffee cup, easy to mess things up, right? So the picture like which I like tried to show you is of like a Facebook experimental project that was like called paper, and that never quite worked out. Considering like Facebook as a like which is a like huge company, they too like messed out like sometimes. So it's easy to mess up like because the software medium is so rich. You can build or create anything. You can often end up with something that users can't quite understand. And worse yet, once it's not working, adding feature won't help. Sometimes the foundation is just not so strong actually. So I would say like we should like choose your own like difficulty, but like really like we should like be also like taking it easy on ourselves. So the most I have ever like thought about this problem is the more like I come to realize like there are like there's really a spectrum between like versus pre-existing product categories. So the new product carries category carries a lot more risk, which we will which I'll like try to discuss. Also, the pre-existing category carries less risk, but you have to face lot more competition and more expectations than as compared to the, like creating a new category. So, uh, what we want to is a point in between these two extremes actually. So let me just say like if you are like trying to create a product in the pre-existing product category, so ideally like as I have like tried to write it down like in very brief manner. Like many customers like who know they want your product, like they are already looking for it, and they know how to compare and shop for product like yours actually. So first, over time, like I have like come to believe that you actually do want your product to be in a very in a pre-existing product category. Who actually Google was not the very first search engine actually. Before Google, like there was like Yahoo, there was like AOL search, there were like many search engines actually, and also like the Facebook was not the very first social network, and Microsoft was not the very first operating system. All these like products like were having like or like were created in a very pre-existing product category. So, however, like these companies came to dominate those markets, but because like they came in early when the dynamics were still developing, and the market grew, but it was also clear what they offered, how they developed something that was like very much killer for the competitors actually. So I would say like a very large number of customers like who are like getting pulled towards your product is like a very sweet spot actually. Like right now, like as a uh, product management person, like we are like developing a like end-to-end matchmaking platform for like job seekers and recruiters. So it's a very much like full kind of a product. Consider like a Naukri.com as a case. So Naukri doesn't need like any kind of a marketing, right? A person like who is seeking job would automatically like land up onto their website to get himself registered to, so that like he can look for like new prospective jobs, right? So ideally, like there are a huge market of pre-existing pull for your product. So validate with search ads, etc. That's a like easy way. Big market means like there's often room to segment, and I want to be more precise than say like that the market must be big, more specifically than that. Like there must be like large number of users who are pulling on this category in the market. By pulling, I mean folks are like or like users are actively searching for the product. So you can see it in Google Trends. They are clicking on the links that mention products in the category. So there's already a spend good amount of spend actually. So and let's contrast this to the big fake market sizes that entrepreneurs often trick themselves into. Yes, there are a lot of college students like and maybe that your target market, but how many of them actually want this? Already own a precursor version of your product and or are googling or searching or talking about the category. So that's the real assessment or of the demand app. So I would say like ideally like there's a lot of competition with traction, more data points to figure out what the true minimum viable product will look like. However, ideally fragmented or incompetent or on a different platform. So I would say like related to the above point, like the best markets already have competitors and maybe they are pretty decent. It's a good sign when folks can make a decent living building products in the space, but we just have to find a wedge to get in, or maybe we have a clear thesis on why and how the market will get a lot bigger quickly. The best case is where the market is large but fragmented, perhaps because the competitors are not that competent or there's something structural like regulatory issues that keeps things small. So if I give you an example of a fragmented segment, remember like back in 2015 16, there were like a lot many number of payment apps, there were like Paytm, they were like Phone Pay, they were like Google Pay. So everyone like was using their own UPIs. So if you go out to any shop and you have to you wanted to pay that shop, so that shopkeeper maybe like was using Paytm and you are not a customer of or a user of Paytm, and you can't pay online, right? But Bharat Pay comes into the picture. He figures it out the problem and finds the right solution. Now, anyone like can pay using Bharat Pay. So that was one of the like best solution out there, and even like right now. So I would say so ideally even we are the super users of our own product category, so we can understand like what competitive dimensions work. So there's a huge advantage to build for first for ourselves, because the intuitive advantage it gives us in iterating quickly is fantastic. This isn't always possible, but it can be a very good thing actually. And I would say like sorry, the easiest short term it's okay, it's spelling mistake, but the easiest short term path to clone something that already has a like product market fit. So if the market keeps growing, then the new users will come to you just to try it out, and lots of problems though. So just as I've like previously mentioned, with the coffee cup, one way to get to the product market fit is quickly is to just copy something. Maybe there are ton of problems with this strategy though. If you are the second player with the same product, you will always remain the second player. Your team will hate this strategy, investors won't get it. Sometimes the market is big enough to make it this work, but it's not often actually. So yeah. So uh, the better so the better approach is to do a twist actually. So on this spectrum of pre-existing market to a new market, pick a point in the middle actually. So build something that customers fundamentally understand, but with a clear innovation that you can market around. A lot of getting to market fit, the product market fit is being thoughtful about the category, the access of differentiation, etc. So I would say you have to make sure like your innovation is like fundamental and can be experienced in like first 60 seconds, and you have to like analyze and pick a clear competitive dimension, right? So and sometimes metaphors also often like lead to like fake marketing. So let me clear out this thing. Consider a case uh, Pinterest for business like versus like Pinterest for dogs. So substitution test, right? So we love these X for Y, these type of companies, and it can be a way to generate cool ideas, but it doesn't say much about the underlying market size and existence of pull in the market. Um, for instance, Pinterest for dogs. and Pinterest for business are like both X and Y. Like, but only like dogs are a segment for of Pinterest. Business targeted product is more a description of the mechanics of the product, not a smaller set of broader existing model. And as I did mention, like identifying a wedge in a pre-existing market is the key actually. So as a result, like you can think about existing versus new market using the substitution test. So if I use this uh, new product like we are like trying to build, does it take away engagement or the money from like something else? If so, then it's truly a segment and a heads-on competitor. So it's a counterintuitive, but I consider like that very good thing because like they they are like truly competing in a pre-existing framework, and you just need to do the right functionality to win. So and like too much uh, uh, so if I let me define the MVP actually. So MVP is the like minimum viable product. So that so with minimum viable product, I meant to say like consider a case like you are like trying to build a new car, right? So the minimum viable product is like you have to like just first like test out your engine, and you have like just a base like with four wheels like, and a steering wheel and the brakes and the accelerator and the clutch. That's it. Nothing else. You wouldn't be having any doors. You wouldn't be having like AC, very fancy interiors or like or the exteriors or any other thing. Just have to like have like the minimum viable product to test out things, right? So, but in the minimum viable, like two minimum wouldn't be that good, right? So competing in existing market mean like there is a baseline build something similar, simpler and different, but you will want to focus on switching people, right? Before existing market has a baseline of product quality, functionality, we did all have, we did it to, all love to build the minimum viable product, like, but sometimes like it doesn't work because like the category has evolved sufficiently, and you need to be more than the bare bones, right? So say like it's like technology in search of a problems. Like sometimes people like love a certain kind of a tech. So today it might be crypto, tomorrow it might be something else, and they are like looking for some kind of product and category to apply to, rather than fundamentally like solving people's core needs. It's an easy mistake to make for technologies actually, right? So uh, during pandemic, like many of the companies, like they were like launched, uh, they were like trying to solve the problem of maybe like for the edtech sector or like collaborative working, all those things like so they were like just like trying to like test out like new technology. They were just searching for the problem. They weren't testing out the market first. So and so if we are like we are like betting on a like new human behavior, so sometimes like this can work, but it's rare actually. At the very least, like products have to like tap into the same fundamental like human motivations that has driven us like from like thousands of years as so consider a case of like online buying, like still like people in India or across the globe, like they haven't like adopted to online buying, like still like most of the market segment, like they go out like in physical shops, like they buy out things. rather as compared to like ordering online. It's like very lean startup, but like terrible market and like bad product choices. So this is common actually, and like you can like execute everything correctly, iterate quickly, great tech, hire well, and do all the right things. But ultimately, they still like take huge risk on our product and like market in such a way like to not actually be successful. So so these are like some of the things like, but how we can like measure uh, product market fit actually. So as you it's a like very famous line saying like if you are a like pirate, then why join a navy? So pirate means like if you are like if you consider yourself to be a good entrepreneur like that, why join a company? So but to be a real pirate, you have to like take care of all the pirate metrics. And with the pirate metrics, I would say like with the acquisition, like you have to like consider like how do the users find you, how they are like getting yourself getting signed up on your for your product. Are the like user like they like have a, like a great first experience, and the retention, I meant to say like are the like users coming back onto the platform to use the product or the service, and are they like willing to pay for that product and service, and like are the like users like referring to their friends or their family members or like maybe like their social circle. So in the beginning, like not all the indicators have a priority, like for example like acquisition or revenue might not be your like top focus until you are sure you can deliver the best experience possible. Therefore like you will be like more closely looking at the activation and the part. While these matrices are like promising and positive, we can like further focus on acquisition, referral, and the revenue part. So finding the product market fit really comes as a magic. Yes, does require some intuition, but also has a great deal of observation, discipline, and execution part. So how do how we can like achieve it for our product? So say like yeah, so we can like do it by like so well how is the like product market fit like actually measured? So it's so if you consider it in a like quantitative way, like it's like the NPS score, the churn rate, the growth rate, and the market share. So all in a quantitative manner, like in which you can like measure it. But like you can consider it in a qualitative way. So it's like the word of mouth. So customers like talk about your products with others, like they effectively become your products sales representative actually, kind of like. So and if like calls from the media on the industry analysts like come in much more frequently, coverage of your product and company increases. So these are like some of the like gating factors or so I would say like how we can like So the first part of building out a very company is like finding out the problem solution fit and then the product market fit. So if you have like find out the product market fit, then it's the very ideal time for raising out the funds actually. The funds are needed to scale the venture further. So because if you had find out the product market fit, like the investors would have great faith on you. That you can hire employees, you can hire a great team to scale the product or to build a product of the large. And for scaling, I would say like you can run the paid ads. So for the paid ads, like you are like ultimately like looking at it as a like lifetime value versus like customer acquisition cost problem. So with some like blended organic traction too. So almost like they look for the like OTA marketplaces both like this. And okay, so I have like mentioned that equation also for two like so like and the viral loops are you have like you want to build a viral loop. So if your product is like social or like collaborative in nature, you can optimize for like invites or content like sharing or some other loop. This is like a deep topic and like we can like take any time like further in future. So that is it. And the last part is the SEO. As you all know, like SEO is like if like growth involved in like a lot of like user generated content. So then we can like build on like Google for products like that are really about reviews on local businesses or like companies or product or even real estate. We can see them use the SEO as a loop. Right? So that's it. Like if you guys like have like any of the questions, so I would be like very much happy to answer. I have like taken.
Thank you, Amrish ji. Hopefully, I am audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thanks again once, Amrish ji. Students, if you have any question, please interact with our guest speaker of today. Participants. And Amrish ji, okay, that's good. And if possible, then please open your video also.
Yeah, I've already done that.
Hi. Very good afternoon.
Perfect.
Students, if you are interested, then please ask some questions. Aditya, Manvendra, because only one side listening is not a good thing. Anushka, Ayushi, Anupriya, Guifsa, Isani. Please, if you have any questions, then it's good for you and others also. Anyone have any question?
Okay, so
Okay, Kushi Verma is asking something, yeah?
yes, traction is one part. So with traction, I meant to say like see, if a users are like coming onto a platform again and again to use your product or a service, so consider like Facebook as a product. So how many times like are you like trying to get onto Facebook like on a daily basis? Maybe like 3 or 4 times. So Facebook will say like you have Facebook. They are like having a good amount of traction or like as compared for every user. That is like traction in like very simple manner. see, like, did I like answered your query?
Thank you, Kosi, for your question. Any other student is interested to ask anything related with today's topic? Okay. Now, on behalf of Ministry of Education, Innovation Cell, Institution Innovation Council, Banaras Hindu University, and Design Innovation Center, Banaras Hindu University, from the core team of site, myself, Manish Arora, faculty member at Department of Applied Arts, Faculty of Visual Art, BHU, is thanking to Mr. Ambrish Nigamji for this very valuable input, and hopefully in future we will also reconnect with you also. Thank you, participants, for your participation, and tomorrow's session information will be sent you today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.